Okay, folks, it is 6 o'clock and thanks to a very conscientious facilities operation manager.
Yes.
We now have an atomic clock in the back of the room, so we know when it's 6 o'clock. So we need to note that, Colette. Of course, we have to say thanks. So tonight we will start with roll call. Oh, pardon me. It is Tuesday, June 25th, 2024 at 6 p.m. and we are in the council chambers of the city of Platteville, and I am calling to order the regular meeting of the Common Council. Now we'll do roll call.
Barbara Doss,
Here.
Bob Gates,
Here.
Ken Killian,
Here.
Tom Knoll,
Here.
Lynn Parrott. Kathy Kopp is excused. Todd Casper.
Here.
Okay, the first item on our agenda tonight is consideration of the consent agenda. The following items may be approved on a single motion and vote due to their routine nature. If you want to discuss something separately, please let me know. We have the council minutes from June 11th, our regular meeting, payment bills. I have no appointments to boards and commissions tonight. We have licenses, 2-year operator licenses to serve and sell alcohol as are in your packet. Temporary Class B license to serve fermented malt beverages to the Platteville Main Street program. For City Park, from 6 to 8 p.m. For Music in the Park, these are the dates in July 11, July 18, and July 25th. I'd note that there is no music in the park on July 4th. And permits, we have a parade permit for the Platteville Dairy Days Parade, which would be Saturday, September 7th. The parade permit from 9:30 to 11:30. Do I hear a
motion?
Okay,
I move to approve all items listed under the consent agenda.
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Colette will vote.
Doss,
Yes.
Gates,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Knoll,
Yes.
Parrott. That was yes.
Yes.
Casper,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, next on our agenda is citizens' comments, observations, and petitions, if any. I'd like to start by extending a congratulations to the 150th Fire Department Anniversary Committee for, although I was out of town, I did see photos and understand that I also saw a piece on one of the Madison stations about the old fire truck that ran for the parade. So my understanding, it was a great day, except for that stuff that is so often now falls from the sky, rain. And I did see several fire trucks as I came back into town that night. They were all out on watch for tornadoes. So Ryan, any comments?
No, it was a great event, although it did come a little shorter than we planned, but the rain stopped for a great parade down Main Street. I think everybody enjoyed it, good turnout. And the festivities that we could have were seemed to be well attended and a good time by everyone. You know, the kids loved the fact that the bounce houses with the rain became slip and slides besides bounce houses. So, you know, the wetter the better for them. But no, it was great, and it was great to see so many people of the community come out and support it and enjoy the events that we had there. So,
And I suspect the water fights would have not suffered at all through the rain.
no, but it did actually stop raining for that as well. So that was a good time as well too. So
Okay, great. Any other people with comments, observations, or petitions on council or any other place? Cody? Do you have an event coming up?
Yes, sorry. Yes. July 4th, we are going to have our Heritage Day. That's going to run from roughly 9 to 4. We will be around until, well, much later, picking up and getting everything good to go. But we'll be offering our train rides, mine tours. We'll have outdoor games. We will have the Wondos. They'll be playing inside in the East Display this year. And we're also getting some demonstrations up on the second floor in the museum. So hopefully we have enough things to get people to kind of circulate through and see everything that we have in the museums, as well as hopefully enjoy the nice weather on July 4th. It is free admission, so come on out. Hope to see you.
And there is no interference at all with the later evening fireworks, so easy to do both.
Yep.
Okay, anything else? Okay, then let's move to the reports. In the packet, there was the Tourism Committee report. Kathy isn't here. Does anybody have any questions? Housing Authority Board, actually, I went to my first meeting tonight. So if there's anything to report, I'll do so next time. Library Board, Bob?
Guess just since our last meeting, they've kind of been scrambling. One of the employees' husbands was ill for a week and she was gone. Vacancy for a 20-hour-a-week specialist position, and they're still in need of a week.
Okay, how about the Airport Commission, Bob?
Guess the newest thing is kind of exciting. There's a guy who has a flight club at Southwestern High School, and he's going to try to get the flight club going at the airport, so they actually have some time. And he's working with Ryzen Pereira, the new manager, and they're going to get that going. That's about all I can say about Flight Club.
How about community safe routes? Tom?
Well, I do have something to say that we talked about bicycling and skateboarding down the downtown area. So Howard and Jody and some other people got together, and we now have, as I placed in front of you, signboards stating that there is no bicycling or skateboarding in downtown area. This should help with pedestrian people walking. So can be irritating when somebody says, I'm to your left or I'm to your right. So we did that, and I thought that was really good. And Howard, if you have anything else to add, please do so.
No, thank you. You gave credit to Jody, who was the real one behind the scenes doing it.
And who has put up the sign? Not only Tom did it for us in a photo, but Jody has put it up on the screens for us, so.
I got a question.
Okay,
So, I'm gonna assume that downtown is from the library or Chestnut to Water? No bicycling and no skateboarding from Water?
It's
to
defined
Chestnut?
in the ordinance as between Chestnut and Water and Pine and Furnace.
Pine and Furnace.
Yes, the
Okay.
the
Yep, no,
defined
I-
downtown area where bicycling on the sidewalk, skateboarding, things like that on sidewalks
Sidewalks.
is not permitted, is in this.
so it's both streets, Pine Street and Main Street. You just said.
All the way to Furnace Street.
All the way to Furnace. Oh, all the way to Furnace, okay.
Yes, from Pine Street to Furnace Street, north, south
No.
to north.
Right.
And Water to Chestnut, east to west.
Mhm. And that's just sidewalks, right?
Sidewalks,
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you can skateboard and bicycle, but you can't be on the sidewalk.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, those were the reports from boards, commissions, and committees. We had a question last time about the City Hall flag raising policy. And in your packet were the minutes from the September 28th, 2021 meeting, where there was an information and discussion on flag raising. And the council discussed options. The consensus was to only fly the United States flag, the Wisconsin state flag, and in the month of October, the United Nations flag, which has historically been flown in the city. So that's where the policy is. At this point in time, has anyone, there has been no suggestion from a council member or from a staff member to put it on the agenda. So this is the policy as it stands.
That's correct, yes.
Okay,
It's a consensus.
right.
It wasn't a vote.
It wasn't a vote. It wasn't a vote, it was a consensus. We never took action on increasing it or decreasing it. We just left it as it's been.
The request last meeting with the pride, although it's last minute. And she noted that it has now become something that is done statewide. I mean, I didn't research it or anything, but I'm just wondering, did that happen before 2021? Because if it became statewide before 2021.
I don't think she said it was statewide. I think she said it was being currently flown over the Capitol. I don't think it's a statewide thing.
Okay.
If somebody wants to look that up and come back with any information, they can. But I see no point in putting it on the agenda unless there's a consensus
No, I'll
from
look it
the.
up. I just thought
Okay.
maybe something changed
Okay.
recently and that brought her to bring it in.
Not that I know of. Okay, the next thing, fire facility update. Clint? Anything?
Madam President, in your packet, you'll see the most recent update dated from June 25th. Kind of the big features in walking through that is that we've arrived at a GMP, a budget estimate. On the bottom of page 1, you'll see our anticipated costs of where things are arising right now. We're underneath the 14.5 number, which is good. That was our goal, and that's the guidance that was put in place by the Common Council as recommended and petitioned by the partner townships. Switching into page 2, you'll see the timeline on there, and of course, as soon as I printed it, we had on changes. So I would say in the next update, you're going to see the substantial completion and grand opening probably postponed out just a bit. Expect June of 2026 as substantial completion. In July is the grand opening, and that's for the sake that we're not necessarily pressed to get out of our other building. And if we have a spring kind of like we had 6 that we had here in 2024, we could have, of course, some different delays there. With that as well, moving down into fundraising, we had some terrific news. You'll see on there that at the time we had reported about $1,160,000 in donations had been received. That number is updated today by the fundraising committee and our partners over at ICI. We're now at $1,266,852.60, and that's as of today. And that has been done on some extremely heavy lifting and moving and shaking by these folks. They have reached out now to our citizens through mailers that went out in our utility billing, and they're also coordinating with townships to get solicitations out to our citizens in our townships, or of our citizens of our township partners. We're still awaiting the grant opportunity through Department of Administration. We're expecting fall to see if we will receive any types of funds from that. Recent actions, asbestos abatement. We have our request for proposals to do the abatement on OE Gray posted on our website, and we're looking for contractors to come back and give us some proposals on that. Alternate bids, we're working on our alternate bid package that will be built into the construction documents that'll go forward for bidding on the actual construction of the fire facility. Township meetings, we conducted a meeting with our townships on March 29th where we had them in to review the proposed financial agreement, which has been reviewed has been reviewed by our city attorney. And then we also provided them with educational opportunities and resources by having some of our partners come in from Ellers and give them some ideas on some different funding that might be afforded to our township partners. West Adams Street reconstruction has begun, and Howard has been managing that and ensuring that our tie-ins with a fire facility project and those civil engineering plans are matching up the best they can. Our approaching actions, demolition. Once we've had an abatement contract awarded with an established timeline, we'll be able to start then getting things pinned down for a demolition RFP. And then property acquisition, we're continuing on the legal steps with that. We're hoping to have a deed in hand here shortly. And then our contracts with the townships, once we have an established signed GMP, they will go out to the townships as an agreement on the how much and when we would be expecting to receive their installments for helping us meet all the expenses that are coming on the draw schedule. Madam President.
Any questions? Otherwise, I think we continue to move this project forward, and that's the most important thing. So I think that's what I would say about that. If anybody has any questions, certainly Clint, we thank the Telegraph Herald for their recent coverage. Thank you, Steve, for the coverage in the Journal this week, not only for the fundraising, but also for the 150th anniversary celebration. That was a great addition. Okay, let's move then to the action item on our agenda tonight. That is Resolution 24-06, Compliance Maintenance Annual Report. Howard.
Thank you. Annually, we are required to submit this report by June 30th. It's a self-report on the condition of our treatment plant. We have an excellent treatment plant and operated by exceptional staff. Our system is graded A in all areas in 2023. And so we have an enclosed resolution that is required by the DNR to demonstrate that you, the Common Council, have reviewed and approved the submission of this CMAR. On June 12th, the Water and Sewer Commission also reviewed and recommends that the council accept and authorize staff to submit the report. Thank you.
Okay, anybody with any questions? Questions? Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve resolution 24-06, accepting the compliance maintenance annual report for 2023 and all staff to submit the report.
We have a motion by Ken and a second by Bob. Colette will vote.
Doss,
Yes.
Gates,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Null,
Yes.
Parrot,
Yes.
Casper.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, then let's go on to the Platteville Aquatic Center. Bob.
Yes, thank you. As council knows, the Platteville Aquatic Center vessel experienced severe damage, leaving the pool inoperable. The Parks, Forestry, and Recreation Committee intends to exercise authority to establish a subcommittee to study the problem and issue a report with recommendations. The attached document is intended to define the purpose and expectation for this subcommittee. The Parks, Forestry, and Recreation Committee is seeking Common Council's feedback on this organizational document. And basically, the document, it's enclosed in your packet, but the highlights are the subcommittee will compose of 8 voting members, 2 representatives from the Parks, Forestry, and Rec Committee, 1 representative of the City Council, and 5 at-large representatives from the community. The Parks and Rec Committee is recommending that these be tax-paying citizens. The recreational director and city manager will serve as advisory to the subcommittee. And then we kind of laid out the expectations and the functions, and you can see that on the second page. And basically, it's just a lot of research and data search and organizing all of this data. As I laid out in all of these other numeric issues, if you had any questions, I would like to hear them.
Okay, so the subcommittee, 8 people as defined, 2, 1, and 5, all citizens of the city of Platteville. Not necessarily, they could be citizens and not property owners, but they have to live within the city.
Yeah, we would be, it was discussed about just having taxpayers, but, you know, eventually we're all taxpayers. So in the city,
Anybody who lives
that
within
is
the
correct.
city of Platteville.
So that's kind of how it got to be, just any citizens.
And then the subcommittee is supposed to bring you 3 plans. Is that correct?
That is the goal for 3 plans. And we actually, part of the Parks and Rec Committee is, you know, trying to focus on which those plans are. And then the subcommittee will in fact organize those 3 plans and make the presentation to the committee.
And then the plans would each have some stuff to it. It
Right.
says the city manager will be developing a concept vision that may meet community needs without the need for construction of a new swimming pool. Perhaps you could explain what that means.
Sure. And Clint, you can step in if you want, but what we need this committee to be very focused on, you know, what is it going to cost? Where would we have it? What kind of the revenue source would it be? Time for completion, just a lot of fact and data gathering. And so we didn't want them to kind of get off on a side course of, okay, let's see what it would take to fix the pool, or something that that Clint and I and some of the engineers would actually be exploring as well. I would like to, if you didn't have any other questions on that, I would like to update you a little bit on the insurance. Clint was
Oh,
wise.
just a minute, let's see.
I do
Does
have-
anybody have questions on
Sure.
the document? Let's start.
Sure.
I do have a question. I know this is a draft. Will this be available for the public to read on the website? Or if not, is it a half of this and send it to people? Because I had some people I might contact to see if they're in.
Right, so the process would be, if there are no suggested changes by the council, then we would have a special meeting for the Parks and Rec Committee to vote and approve this, and then it would be in fact published.
Okay, well, on here it says, I think it's going to be, I mean, will this special meeting be tomorrow? Because I think the date on here is that it's going to be available for the public. I think it said the
26.
26th.
That's tomorrow, yes. We wanted to have this meeting first and see if there was going to be.
All right, any questions? Ken?
When are the courses of action due? I thought I read it in here, but I read so much today.
February, is that February 19th?
Where about is it written?
Did I get that right?
Yeah, it is February.
Is it on page 2?
I don't know where it's,
Page 1,
Page 1?
3rd, 4th paragraph, bottom of February 17th, right?
Okay, no later than February 17th,
close at the 19th.
2025, is that it?
Yep.
Okay, I got it.
Any other questions? Okay, then, this isn't an action item, but since there are no actual suggestions, then Bob, you would take this next to Parks, Recreation and Forestry and then post it.
Correct.
Okay, so it won't be tomorrow, so that'll be a change. It'll be, I don't know when you're gonna have your.
Right. As soon as I know, I can get everybody together,
Okay,
but we'll be able to do it virtually
okay. All right, so it'll be soon.
soon, real
Okay.
soon.
All right, now we'll step away from this aquatic recreation subcommittee to a report that Bob has from our insurance provider as it pertains to the pool.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, Clint was wise enough to actually turn a claim into the insurance company. And the insurance company, our insurance company, actually flew out an engineer from Kansas City, a consulting engineer, and we visited the pool for, good 3 hours or so. And he took just, I don't know, 600 pictures, but, and he was an actual engineer, and then they flew him back home. And then he's made a report to the insurance company. Now, we didn't get to see the report, and it's not finalized, but he did share that the insurance company actually feels that a GPR evaluation of the pool shell would be beneficial. So,
So what is a GPR?
yeah, so what the GPR would do is actually it's ground radar. Yep,
Oh, ground penetrating radar.
yep. And that'll
GPR.
actually, did I say that?
Yeah.
You didn't say what GPR was.
Oh,
You
no,
just
okay.
Said a GPR, and I'm like, that's general purpose revenue, and I'm not sure how that's gonna help us, but.
Any revenue will help.
Right.
But yeah, that they hopefully can see or not see voids in the subsurface or whatever they might find. Howard and my comment to them was they're going to be our insurance company, though, so they should know what they're insuring. And so they, in fact, we're getting quotes now to get what that would be to do that GPR. I've been in contact with Burbach Dwayne, and he has a company he's familiar with that'll get the quotes. Then I will forward that to the engineer, who will forward it to the insurance company and hopefully approve. So I think that's really good news. And it's especially if we get to see that report and maybe that location is not the location. And at least now we'll finally know.
Maybe it is, we don't.
Or maybe it is. That is correct.
Okay, so,
Was,
and can you, go ahead, Ken?
has GPR ever been done at this site? Apparently not.
Not at this site, no. I mean, the companies do this quite frequently, I understand. We're not the only pool now with this same issue.
With the situation of limestone, there could be a lot of places that are void below. the
Well,
ground level.
I'm not an engineer. I did sleep at Holiday Inn, but I'm not an engineer, so I'm gonna let them read the map.
It's common in limestone area.
Okay, anybody else with questions about the insurance claim, the visit by the insurance contracted engineer, and or the ground penetrating radar proposal? Okay? Okay,
Bob, if not only will they say that there's a problem underneath it, will they also say whether it can be fixed and how much it would cost to fix the problem?
I'm not sure about that, Bob. I do know, if we get to use the company that Burbach's with, we'll have a lot more rapport with them. So in fact, we'll probably get more information because, it'll be one that our engineer actually knows. So I'm sure then we would be able to at least get their opinion on that.
okay. Final on the swimming pool, Bob, how is our, how are we,
At UWP?
Yeah.
It's
how's it going?
It's going very well. If anything, we have too many guards, which is a good problem, The University of Wisconsin Platteville folks are very happy with what they got going on there. It allows, the pool almost all the time. We still try to do posts because I think the open swim time is still underutilized. We have guards there. But it is increasing. And we do put posts out there now and then, especially like a hot day today.
So Bob, do I buy a City of Platteville swim pass to go there?
You can buy a swim pass. We do have daily also. We do have attendants sitting there, so they do pay their $4 daily pass. But if some folks decided to keep their swim pass because they are regular lap swimmers and they go there quite often, so they're being able to utilize their pool pass.
So,
We immediately assumed a refund to everyone so that nobody had to call. And then when they did call and say, oh, we'd like to keep the pool pass, we said, absolutely. It's not many, but it is a few.
and the other question I've been asked, you pay the pool pass, that is a Platteville, a city of Platteville thing. They don't have to be a member of the Pioneer Activity Center or pay a fee to you to be a Platteville.
That is correct.
All right.
Now, if they are a member of the Pioneer Platteville, they can go in there and swim as well, and we guard them and doesn't cost them
Doesn't
anything.
cost.
Yeah, so it's kind of like whichever pass you have, or you can pay a daily fee.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you might want to stress that in your post,
Okay,
that there is no membership at the university PAC required to do the $4. The $4, and that just like if you came to the city swimming pool and it was outside and you paid $4 for the day, you can go and pay $4 for the day at UW Platteville.
well, we'll do that. I'll make sure Adam puts that out there. I can say the feedback for the lessons have been very positive, so
Good,
that is very good.
good. It's always nice to know that we have a little lemonade made out of this lemon that we had. Okay, if there are no other questions, we'll move on to city manager implementing a donation policy. Clint.
Thank you, Madam President. Historically, the city of Platteville has been enriched by generous donations of individuals and partnerships with entities supporting the Platteville community. This policy is designed to provide a thoughtful review process that considers the intentions of the donor, is sensitive to the needs and desires of the community, and is sensitive to the costs associated with proposed gifts and donations, including long-term maintenance and care costs. The proposed resolution authorizes the city manager to develop and implement a donations, memorials, naming of public properties, and foundation partnership policy. The policy shall depict procedures for donations, memorials, and tributes, naming of public properties, procedures for specific contributions, guidelines for working with foundations, and necessary administrative actions. The city manager shall be tasked with the development, implementation, and maintenance of such policy to effectively coordinate the desires of the community members, resources of the city, and will of the common council. In flipping behind that, then you're going to see several documents. The first then is the resolution, and kind of how this is put together is that you folks as policy makers by resolution are going to be tasking the city manager with the what and why of this. And then behind that, then you'll see administrative policy that's put together that kind of answers then the who's, the where's, the how's, and the when's. In the policy, you'll see it's broken down into several different sections as it mandates by the resolution. And we're trying to capture a variety of different things. Some of the questions that have come up from both donors and from staff members and from department heads and from some of our partner organizations include kind of different things of, well, you know, what is considered a donor is if the city approaches a group and is asking them to help with a project, is that different than somebody approaching the city? And we define things like that. Kind of define the different procedures for making a donation. A lot of this is heavily kind of put in the context that if somebody has a donation, we're not going to just hand them a policy and say, come back with it filled out. It's really more of a guide to be working with department heads and staff members to try to marry things up. The bottom line is that we have so much that we are receiving through donations from generous contributions from the committee. And what this is intended to do is to try to help establish expectations on the short term and then on the long term too. As we have turnover in the city and folks in the community and our different partner organizations, some of these documents will really kind of help pave the way and set expectations in place so that both the donors' wills are being met and the city's expectations are put out there on where the limitations are. And so with that being said, Madam President, I would love to hear any kinds of discussion points that you might have or suggestions.
Okay, this was quite long.
It is.
And to be truthful, I haven't quite read and digested all of it.
I have taken this to my directors they don't want to see it. 3, 4 times, I think, that I've put it out to them. I have talked with our folks with ICI. We've actually piloted this, like the donation form with 2 contributions, 2 that have come through Parks and Rec, and working with Bob and gotten their feedback on, which has been most helpful. The way it's kind of structured too is that the idea is that you're going to be through resolution saying, yes, we want this policy and it should have these big things. And if things get bumpy or clumpy or we need to change things, then we'll change things on the administrative end of it to make sure that we're still meeting the will of the overall goal of the. So while the policy is kind of drafted, it is right now, it's intended to be a living policy, and it'll adapt as need be to try to meet the needs of the council in the future, but still honoring though the language that's kind of in place when a donation is given.
Okay, questions, suggestions? Lynn?
I almost feel like I'm being like my buddy over here. On number 6, on page 6, there's a typo.
Specified contributions?
Yeah. Other than that, it was reading very well.
Thank you.
So, other questions or comments?
Yes, my comment is, I thought it was good at the end where you kind of specified what would make a donation a valuable donation or a donation worth considering. And that kind of, because sometimes donate things that maybe are not needed or would require just not be a donation the city would want. And so I thought it was good to point out all the things that would make a donation.
Have a evaluation criteria on there, and because part of it too is it might be a terrific thing, but sometimes maybe it's a matter of placement. Like somebody wants to do something, they want to do it here, but maybe by managing out what's best for the community through forums like this, it's like, maybe that's just not the right spot. Yeah, another thing I would say too is this doesn't impede into Cody's policy for his receivables for collections, or into Jesse with books and such. They still have their policies established through administrative policy. But what Bob's talking about kind of touches on, I think, comments that Cody has made where, we don't want to say a museum to end up being the community's attic, where it's just, this is important and we should keep it, so let's keep it somewhere. The mission of the museum is not only to hold our history, but history that is educational and bridges the past to the future kind of thing. So thank you, Bob.
Okay, one of the questions I would ask, so, you have this form at the end that you would work through. So would these City of Platteville donation agreement forms, would these come to the council as, information items?
Couple different things there. So we're hoping to, we have authority for our donations established on, it's in here. It's kind of based on the amount, or if it requires continuation, then we're marching it up the chain of command. If it's below a certain amount, directors have the authority. If it's below another threshold, the city has it. If it's higher than the city can approve, or if it requires commitment by the city, then it comes to you folks. As part of reporting though, with forms like this, we would be able to include these in our director reports to be able to show we've received donations, to show the giving from the community.
And that's what I'm getting at. I mean, I think I can't remember if I've been on this council 20 years or if it's a little longer. I do know that I was on the school board 18 years, and every month without fail, every school board member received a listing of the donations that had happened that month. By whom and what was given, whether it was a set of books or whether it was money for the whatever, but there was recognition always. And I have been frustrated that we as a city don't do similar. So I would that's why I asked are these donation agreement forms then going to become part of the public record so that there is a public record of the giving that is happening and with the city? I think it's important.
Yes, certainly as part of the stewardship process.
Okay, do you want this on the agenda for next time, or do people want enough time to read this so that we would approve, any resolution the following time? Is this ready on the 11th of July, or do you want it on the second meeting in July?
I'm ready to approve it today if we can.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, it's not on the action items.
Yeah,
It's
well,
on
then the
information
next-
and discussion, we can.
yeah, the next meeting should be
Yeah.
fine.
Okay, it's good. All right. Then that ends the information and discussion portion of our agenda. We do have actually two closed sessions scheduled. The first per Wisconsin statute 1985, parent 1, parent G. This is conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. This is litigation with Rundy Chevrolet Buick GMC. And then per Wisconsin statute 1985, parent 1, parent C, considering employment promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, and our employee is the city manager. So I would take a motion to go into closed session 1 and continue in closed session 2, and then adjourn from closed session.
Make a motion to go into closed session 1 and 2 and then adjourn.
Second.
Okay, Colette will vote.
Doss?
Yes.
Gates?
Yes.
Killian?
Yes.
Null?
Yes.
Parrot?
Yes.
Casper?
Yes.
Motion carries.